with Cathy Espinoza. How you doing, Cathy?
I'm doing great, Jeff. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. I'm doing excellent. Um,
Great.
so why don't we get started and let's just share a little bit about what you do and just your background.
Okay, great. I am a mobile hairstylist, the very first in Illinois that actually I have my own vehicle. I have taken a senior citizen bus, like a PACE bus, and I've had the inside of it kitted out, and a full-service hair salon has been installed in its place, this place of the seating. So it's great for senior citizens. I have a wheelchair lift on there, so I'm able to get them out of their homes and up into the bus to have their hair done. The great thing about that is that, they stare at the same four walls all day long. So even though I'm parked in their driveway, they're coming on my bus. It's a whole new environment for them. And and then it works out perfect for the weddings as well. I've been doing a lot of the weddings, and the girls, it's great. And the limo drivers love it because they said they don't have to go chasing all over town looking for the bride.
That's great. So I mean, it sounds like a huge inspiration, huge story. What made you decide to go for this venture?
Well, let's see. I have been licensed now for 32 years, and of course, the day you start beauty school, pretty much after they tell you that you've learned how to do cutting, you have a pair of scissors in your hand from that day forward. Mm-hmm. And I've always taken care of both of my parents, and they would have needed something like this at the time came. I never thought about it because, of course, I was always taking care of them. I had a good friend of mine who had her mom in a rehab facility and then brought her home. And she's like, oh, my God, does she need her hair cut and colored? Can you do that for her? And I thought, how many other people are out there that need the same thing? So that's when Hairs to You was born.
Nice. Well, it seems like a great service that you provide, and I'm sure it is a nice little break from, staring at those four walls, like you said. I mean, it's got to be a breath of fresh air for those ladies.
Yeah, they love it, and their nurses love it, and of course their families love it too because they don't have to worry about how are they going to get mom or dad out of the home, if they're connected to oxygen per se, mm-hmm. or if they have a little bit, hard time walking. How are they going to get them in and out, or they can't wait? So this works out perfect for them because I do everything according to what they can, what their limits are, or what they're able to do, which works out great.
Right.
And then I tell them, come on out with your cup of coffee and your pajamas. That's fine.
So I'm sure you've had, some characters that you've dealt with and some exciting, stories that would be great to share. I mean, can you give us any examples of, some of the people that just kind of touched your heart?
Well, I'll have to give you this one gentleman. He was so funny. He was in a senior living facility, and he's very standoffish, and he doesn't like to be bothered. So into their arts and crafts room, and one day when it was raining, and I had gone in there, and they had somebody else in there, and he's like, just don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. And it was like, okay, that was fine. So the next time he would come on my bus, he's like, well, thank you for doing my hair. And he kept saying to me, well, just cut it all off. I don't care. Just cut. I said, you have to be so careful when you say those words to somebody who's holding a pair of scissors. And I was able to cut his hair, and I gave him a flat top. And he's like, oh, I love it. Everybody gave me so many compliments. So that's one good story. And then the other one was a gentleman out not too far from me. His wife was in hospice. And he had the hospice company asking for a hairstylist, not for his wife, but for him, because he hadn't left her side since she had been home. And he's like, oh, my God, I was expecting a barber with a drop cloth and a folding chair to come in and just, sit in my garage. He's like, you come in with this full-class, first-class operation. So he was pretty impressed that I pulled up with a bus.
That's pretty cool. So, ordinarily when someone wants to get their hair cut, they drive up to the salon or whatever, and they walk in and they wait and they get taken care of. What's the best way to get a hold of you and maybe book an appointment so that people can enjoy what you have to provide?
Well, they can get a hold of me either through my Facebook or my website, and they can also give me a call, 708-361344, and I will go ahead and set up an appointment for them and go on out and take care of their hair care needs. And the great thing that I always tell people is that when you do go into a hair salon, one of the very first things you should do always is check the walls and make sure that their professional license is up on the wall. You know, I can't begin to tell you how many times I've walked into places and they don't have their license up. You know, and it's just 5x7 sheet of paper, you know, that should be up on their wall, letting you know that you're being serviced by a licensed professional.
Excellent. And can you say that number one more time?
Sure, 708-636-1344.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so make sure that, you know, if you take care of your parents or, you know, somebody that's elderly, you know, it sounds like a great option for them to kind of not only get their haircut, but just kind of get away.
Right. Well, the other thing that's great, too, is I'm trying to get into companies because I keep thinking, you know, that would be, when I worked in corporate America, had they told me there's a hair salon waiting for you downstairs during your lunch period, I would have been all over that. Yeah, you know, because we're all trying to shove so many errands into a day's time that having somebody who comes to take care of it, like during your lunch or your break time, that's one more thing that you could cross off your to-do list at the end of a day.
That's true. What areas do you service? Well, you're mobile, so you can probably go anywhere, but
I'm pretty mobile. I'll go just about anywhere, but I mean, right now I'm in the southwest suburbs of Chicago, so like Oak Lawn, Burbank, Chicago Ridge, Palos Heights Park, Palos Hills, Orland, all of those places. Any place that's looking for an on-site service, and it would be great for a company because it's an add-on benefit. It doesn't cost the company anything. All they're doing is providing that I pull into their parking lot, and boy, would your employees, I would think your employees would be very, receptive of having that done.
Well, you think about it, I mean, when the lunch truck comes around, they scurry to the lunch truck, right? So why not just park right next to that and, you know, have lunch and get your hair done?
What, I'll even take them up on that. You buy the sandwich from the lunch wagon, and I'll provide the soda or the water on the bus. So
there you go.
Perfect.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. I always like to ask, you know, a couple of questions to kind of share the wealth and the knowledge and the learnings that everybody experiences in business, because I believe, you know, it's pretty tough out there, and you know, anytime we can help each other, you know, it's better. So, you know, it takes a lot to stay on top of your game, to stay sharp, and everybody has their own things that they do. Can you share with us what you do to kind of keep yourself focused and, you know, keep moving forward?
Oh, sure. I mean, one of the biggest things is I've been licensed for over 25 years now, so they have kind of grandfathered me in, so to speak, so they tell me that I don't have to go for the CEU hours anymore, but I still like to participate in those just because it keeps me up to date on the new styles of what's going on. I'm forever watching, you know, YouTube. I watch the Sam Villa videos and what he's doing, and Martin Parsons and all of the top stylists that have been known for updo styling and recent hair cutting. So I like to stay abreast of what's going on. This way I can provide my clients with up-to-the-date, you know, hair care of whatever they want, whether it's a hairstyle, if you want to be punked up in red spikes or, you know, just your typical traditional cut and color, that's fine too. So either way.
Excellent.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. So it's good that you can stay on top of the latest trends and stuff. I mean, that's makes you more valuable, right? So, you know, another question I always like to ask is, you know, if you were able to compile like the top key learnings that you've experienced over the years, and you were able to rewind time and say, Cathy, here you go. You know, you can start off knowing all this stuff so that maybe you don't have to hit as many stumbling blocks as you have, unless unless things have gone perfectly for you, and that's a different story. But you know, what would be those couple of key things that you could pass on to either your old self or somebody new starting off that, you know, they can go and just kind of hit the ground running?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the very first things I would say is don't be so cocky when we're younger. You know, I remember I just attended my nephew's graduation from high school, and I just thought back and I thought, boy, I remember my own graduation, how it was like, boy, I've got the world by the horns now. You know, I know everything. You don't need to tell me anything. And, you know, one of the things that I would say is just pay attention to the elders, and I always tell this to my kids too, is that if you listen to somebody who's been through it already, and you just let them speak and you kind of take anything from them, they have a lot of wisdom to share if you just listen to them. And that's at any age. I mean, if you listen to a 40-year-old, from the 18-year-old listening to the 40-year-old or the 50-year-old, we could all learn from everybody. We never stop. Never stop learning. So that's an important thing to remember. And just we're always learning. So always watch and pay attention and see if you can't pick up, a trick or something to kind of help you to make your job easier because they've already worked through the kinks.
Right. No, that's great advice. That's excellent. It's too bad we don't know that back in those days.
Back over 15 again, I thought, boy, to start this all over again, that would be totally different.
Right. But it wouldn't be as
and
much
then I laughed at my sister-in-law because I said, you know what, since I've messed it all, my kids are all grown now, so I tell her, I says, since, I did it all wrong, here's your chance now to do it all right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because it's not easy, and the more people that can be out there helping, the better, right? Because it's tough, and when you hit those pitfalls, because everybody does, there's always bumps in the road. Sometimes it's difficult to keep going, and I'm always curious as to what people do in particular to kind of keep themselves moving forward. So when you hit those challenges, those speed bumps, in life, and some of them make you want to just kind of give up and walk away. What do you do to keep yourself or get yourself back on track and moving forward?
One of the biggest things I think is, especially for people that work like in an environment where you have team members that you work with, depend on your team. Don't be one of those people that tries to, get ahead of your team and I'm going to show them or I'm going to win out over them. Work together, and boy, you really, really fly if you work together because you feed off of one another, and you can cross a bridge several different ways or get to your destination several different ways. So if you listen to somebody else and you work together to solve a problem, I think that's the best situation. Instead of being out there all by yourself, is to work with somebody, to kind of help you through. That's what it was supposed to be making great marriages too, they say, right? So that, we got to depend on our spouse, and, if you need something, I'll ask my husband, and it's the same thing when you're in the work environment. You need to depend on that team of people around you to work together to kind of help you through.
Excellent. Yeah, no, that's great. That's excellent. And that's part of my driving force in doing everything that we're doing here at the network. And, because I'm a firm believer you can't get anywhere by yourself, and you don't have all of the knowledge to equip you to do that. That's why companies are supposed to grow. That's why they're supposed to build teams. They're supposed to have, alliances, because you can't do it, number one, and it's just more fun to have others around,
Exactly. Well, and I look at Google. They had a report the other day. My son was watching a movie about the makers of Google, and it's like, you know what? I'm sure that an employee of Google said, I really need to take a nap, which then made them create those little nap pads that they have now. And, when you listen to everything that they do, it's like, they're all about their employees. And I think that, again, that's a situation where the employees feed off of the employer, and the employer can feed off the employee and make a great, and look at how successful they are.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So, yeah, great advice. Hopefully everybody watching will take something and use it.
Let's hope.
Yeah. So we're both a part of the Co-Opvertising Network. That's how we met, and that's kind of why we're here. If you have an opportunity to kind of speak out to the group, and whether it's asking them for help, or maybe you have ways to help them, you have the platform. What would you do?
Well, as far as helping people, I'm only like a phone call or an email away, and I'd be more than willing to share my experience with anybody. As far as the network, I think it's a great idea. I can't say enough about it. I haven't had too much exposure with it, but from what I can see so far, I think it's a great platform to help people who are out there by themselves and really not knowing what to do, to reach out. We all need mentors, and so it's a great thing to be able to kind of maybe log on and say, hey, I could use some help. And, as far as I'm concerned, that's the same thing with me, too. If anybody's out there who maybe has experience running a salon or, any kind of a business, really, and you want a mentor, I'd be more than happy to receive your tips.
That's great. And if you were trying to team up with anybody out there, what are some of the companies that would be great for you to kind of partner with?
Well, like I said, I'm trying to get into companies that want to provide this service to their employees. So any corporation that's maybe looking to have a benefit that you want to bring to your employees, but you don't really have the funds or the budget right now to add on another benefit, I'd love to come out and talk to you. And you know what? Let's make an appointment. I'll come out and I'll do your hair for you, and you can get an idea of what your employees would experience and see if it's a value for you. That's one good thing. Companies, again, we all need our hair cut. We all need things taken care of. And even though I'm in a service-based business, there's people that run different businesses that could always bring tips and ideas. So, I don't want to close myself off and say only hair, right, because I think we all can learn from one another no matter what the business model is.
Right. And what I found is there's like massage therapists, they're always looking for, opportunities to kind of get into corporations as well. So they might be good. They might be good partners for you too.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. So, anybody out there that's thinking about, tapping into the workforce in one way, shape, or form, I think it would be a good, a good alliance for Cathy. So make sure that you get a hold of her, and try to work some things out. So that's kind of all the time that we have today. I appreciate you taking the time to share your business and share what you're all about. And hopefully people will be able to watch this video and connect up with you and hopefully share it with all their friends. And we'll see that bus sitting in parking lots and driveways nearest you.
That would be great. Like I always tell my customers, spread me around like a bad rumor.
Hopefully it's a good rumor, though. We want to see some good stuff flying around. But what's the best way, again, to get a hold of you just before we leave? Best way is
you can reach me at 708-636-1344. You can also contact me at Facebook. Hairs2u2.net is my website. And then that's also my Facebook handle. So it's facebook.com, Hairs2u2. And the first 2 is spelled T-O, and the last 2 is spelled T-O-O.
Excellent. So make sure you contact Cathy. So I appreciate it, Cathy. It's been great. And we hope to see you online soon.
Thank you, Jeff. We look forward to seeing you.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.